the compassionate, the merciful. What we're witnessing today is an egregious, it is an act of injustice and oppression against innocent human beings. What you're doing today and any other day that you take a stand and that you speak out against these crimes, crimes against humanity, that this is our means as Muslims, and for those who aren't Muslim, we take a stand together, a stand of justice. Justice is not only towards one people or another. Justice is something that goes towards everyone, because every single human being deserves to live a life of safety, of dignity, of honor, of security. Those basic human rights, every single human being has that right. What does that mean? It means that there is absolutely no justification for the taking of an innocent human being. It doesn't matter what context you try to put it in. Currently, we have over 35,000 Palestinians in Gaza whose lives have been taken, the vast majority of which are women and children. There is no context whatsoever that would allow or justify for just one of those lives to be taken, let alone 35 plus thousand. There is no context or justification for it, and that is the stand that we're taking today collectively and every other day. That we say enough is enough is enough. It has to stop. And what we're saying today to those who hear us is don't contribute to the killing of innocent people in any way, shape, or form. If you're contributing in any way, then we have to divest from those contributions. Because I don't want to have a single iota, a single cell of blood on my hands for the innocent lives that are being taken. Not a single cell of red blood. I don't want to have any of it on my hands, and I want nothing to do with it, and I will stand against it, and I will speak against it. Because this is who we are as human beings. This is who we are as people of justice, and that we strive and seek towards justice. We cannot allow, and we continue to say that this has to end. And now, with the incursion into Rafah, it becomes even a greater and more egregious crime. That this is something that you're denying 1.3 million people their basic human rights. What context would allow for that? There is no context nor justification. And so we have to remain firm. What you're doing today makes a difference. And for the people of faith, I will say this very clearly so that we ensure we're doing this for the right reason. As Muslims, we do this for one reason and for one reason only. It's for God. What does that mean? It means that we will not allow those who want to detract from our deeds to detract us or to distract us. It means that we're not doing it to earn the praise of people so that they can say how wonderful you are. We're not doing this for the praise of people, and we're not doing this to avoid the criticism of others. We're doing this because it's the right thing to do in the sight of God. That's why we're doing it. Hold fast to that. This is what our faith is all about. The people of Gaza, this is what their faith is all about. That they understand this in the bigger picture. That when we say, Hasbunallahu ni'mal wakeel, Allah, He is sufficient for us. God is sufficient for us, and He is the best of protectors. He is the best of the managers of our affairs. And know with absolute certainty that not a single iota of injustice will go unaccounted for. Every single individual that has anything to do with oppression or injustice, you will be called to account. That is a guarantee. In this world and in the next, you will be called to account. And this is our duty as Muslims, is that we stand firm for the side of justice, for the side of the innocent, for the people of Rafah, for the people of Gaza, for the people of Palestine, and for all innocent people whose lives are being violated. Because there's no more egregious sin in our faith tradition after associating others with God than the killing of an innocent human being. That's the most egregious of things, it's the most egregious of violations. After associating others with God, shirk, that this is the worst of the worst sins, is to violate, because our faith and our Sharia, our law, is based on the preservation of the human being on all these different levels, in terms of their faith, in terms of their lives, in terms of their intellects, in terms of their wealth, in terms of their lineage, in terms of their honor. That's what Islamic law is all about. It's for the preservation of all of this, for the preservation of the human being. That's what this is about at the end of the day. And so we are taking a noble stance, and we will remain taking that noble stance in order and until that this atrocity and these atrocities, they come to an end. And so keep going and doing what you're doing, and raise your voices loud and clear and say, I will not stand down, because this is about all of us. And this is in fact bigger than all of us. This is about our principles, and that this will go down in history, inshallah ta'ala, that this is the thing that we must do. It's not just the right thing to do, but it's the obligatory thing that we must do. We must stand taking these stances and not to back down. May Allah bless you all. May Allah grant you all courage to continue to take these stands, to be able to speak, to be able to be having these difficult and challenging conversations, in order so that we come to the conclusion that everyone has the right to live a life of dignity and safety. God bless. Barakallahu feekum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, we have a lot of speakers. I was going to chant a bit, but I want to keep it going. So next up, we have Michael Link. I'll let him introduce himself. I'm sure you guys have heard of him before. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you all for being here. I really admire your courage, your bravery, your tenacity, your sense of resistance, and most of all, your sense of optimism. You're here because you want to believe in a better world. You're here because you believe in justice, in equality, in human rights, in the rule of international law, and you resist whenever you see those fundamental principles being violated. My name is Michael Link. I'm a retired professor of law here at Western, and I'm the former United Nations Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in the occupied Palestinian territory. I served in that position for the UN between 2016 and 2022. The Special Rapporteur is a human rights expert. There are roughly 60 of them at any one time that are appointed by the United Nations. And several days ago, a number of current Special Rapporteurs issued a statement condemning the police violence and the university resistance against the encampments of students all over the United States. The statement by the Special Rapporteurs was in support of their right of freedom of expression, of the right to be able to resist, of the right to be able to protest against the unfolding genocide in Gaza and the illegal occupation of Palestine that's been going on for 57 years, and even further in terms of 76 years with respect to the Nakba. I'm pleased to be here today to tell you you're on the side of truth, justice, and what international law winds up demanding. As a lawyer, I can tell you that there is no situation in the world today where international law and UN resolutions have spoken so clearly, so persistently, and so dramatically with respect to Israel's many violations of international law. The Israeli settlements, the over 300 Israeli settlements in East Jerusalem and the West Bank, all are illegal under international law and amount to a war crime under Canadian and international law. The annexation, de facto and de jure, of Palestinian territory, illegal under international law, amounting to a crime of aggression. The occupation itself. I was in The Hague in February at the International Court of Justice, where arguments were being made by over 50 countries in front of the International Court with respect to whether or not the occupation is now illegal. I'm hoping for a decision by July, and I'm hoping that decision will be decisive in finding that the Israeli occupation is illegal. I'm also closely watching, as we all should be closely watching, what is going on with the prosecutor's office at the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court has received abundant evidence over the last 15 years with respect to violations of the prohibitions against war crimes, against crimes against humanity, and against genocide. It is now up to that prosecutor and his office to be able to begin acting on that, to begin to issuing arrest warrants for the crimes that have been committed on the soil of the occupied Palestinian territory. So when you stand up, or when you sit down in protest and in demanding that universities begin their divestment from in companies that wind up supporting the Israeli occupation, when you demand that universities end their institutional relationships with Israel, as long as the occupation continues, as long as the unfolding genocide goes unanswered, then you're on the side of history. Let me finish off with this. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that the arc of history bends slowly, but it bends towards justice. And that's what you're doing. But the Reverend Jesse Jackson also reminded us that while the arc of history bends towards justice, we have to make it bend. It's our actions ourselves that wind up changing history. And you, by being here, have become agents of historical change. You're change agents that are going to make sure that history writes a different chapter when it comes to issues like Palestine, issues like global injustice, issues like environmental degradation. So pat yourself on the back, but continue the fight, because we need you all. It's your generation that's going to have to make these changes. Thank you very much.
Reem Sultan, if you're around, everyone give her a round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everyone is doing well on this beautiful, beautiful day. I'm going to begin by introducing myself, Reem Sultan, and I am the Canadian Muslim Council, Canadian Muslim Public Affairs Council representative here in London. And I come to you bringing the whole community's support behind what you're doing. We're all here supporting you, the students, for their standing up to justice, for asking the Western administration to divest away from a genocidal state that does not respect human rights. So know that every free human being and every person loving life is supporting you here in London, across the nation, in North America, and soon, inshallah, around the world. What you're doing today is something that you will remember for the rest of your lives. Thank you for being here. You think about a lot of things when you're here. And one of the first things that I want to share with you is your intention. A lot of times we're here because of many reasons. But in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you get what you intend for. And if your intention is to stand up for the injustice, for the children that are dead and missing limbs across in Gaza, if you're standing for the thousands of homes that have been demolished or burned for no reason, if you're standing for every single university in Gaza that has been destroyed, if you're standing because of all the hospitals that are no longer functioning, I think maybe there's one or two left, and if the complete Rafah invasion takes place, then nothing will be left. It's literally an attempt to wipe an area and force 2.2 million people to leave. Not because they want to leave their land, but because there's nothing left. Who can stay in a place where there's no school for their children? And if they get sick, there's no hospital for them to go to. They have no homes. Half of their loved ones are dead. Who can stay in a place like that? It's very difficult. That's why you're here. You're here to say enough is enough. No more money going to funnel all the genocide that's happening. If you don't respect international law and humanity, we're not going to invest with you, and we're not going to give you our money. This is your right as students, and that's what you're standing here for. And we are in Canada, and Canada's all for free speech. You're welcome to stand up and say what you believe in. Be moral and principled, and that you are. And we're so very proud of each and every one of you. Our job is to make sure that these standing for justice is strong and continues to grow. I want to share with you, because some of you don't know, I am from Gaza. My family have gone through hell, and it hasn't finished. Month after month after month. We have gone through this very difficult experience, and we all know what's going on. We can't even enjoy anything. And yet for them it never ended. We are from the north. We are 7 kilometers. My village is 7 kilometers away from the border. And I have members dispersed every single place in Gaza. And a few days ago, a family left. And you cry alone, and you try, and you pray, and you do everything within your power to cause a difference. But I take my resilience from them. Their belief that this will pass. Their resolve, them telling me, we'll build it again. As long as we're alive, we'll build it again. As long as we're here, we'll build it again. This is what gave me the strength to continue. Because when you lose everything that you've known growing up, the house that my grandfather built, the land that all my uncles toiled and took care of, the streets, the people, everything is gone. I was there, not last summer, but the summer before, to enjoy it all. And now I don't know how will I feel when I go back when there's nothing left? And in the back of my mind, where they're all gonna go? Where are they gonna live? I can't fathom that. But they will, because they love that land. And now each and every one of you loves that land too. And I pray from the bottom of my heart that one day you will go and meet the beautiful people of Gaza. Thank you very much. Stay strong.